How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Cyberpunk 2077 video. Now for today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the life paths. Now as soon as you start up the game and after you create your character, you will then be presented with the opportunity to choose your life path. Now the three life paths are Nomad, Street Kid, and Corpo, or Corporate. And each of these life paths are going to present you with three different opportunities to play the game. A Street Kid is going to have a different background than a Corpo is going to have a different background from the Nomad, and these three different life paths will be spawning you in three different locations on the map, two of which are in Night City, and then one of them is in the Badlands. Now in this video, I'm not going to be diving into the Street Kid or the Corpos. I want to focus just on the Nomad class, because originally I thought that I was going to be a Street Kid. A Street Kid obviously grew up on the streets, they have a bunch of gang tie-ins, they know the street slang, and the Street Kid is probably going to have better interactions with the gangs of Night City, so I was kind of all for that idea, and that was the life path that I was going to choose. But in one of my latest videos, I got this comment which kind of made me rethink things. This comment was by Baba Yaga. They said, "Who's with me in choosing Nomad first playthrough? I like the idea of starting out in the Badlands and then entering this amazing city and seeing it for the first time that way. It's like if you've played Outer Worlds for the first time, the door slides open to the Groundbreaker, it's amazing looking, and it wouldn't be as striking if you had started out there, but this will be 1,000 times more amazing. Plus, I like the idea of the Nomad lifestyle." So after reading this comment, it actually made me sort of rethink things, and they make a really good point. If you've played basically any of the Fallouts, Skyrim, Outer Worlds, any sort of big open RPG, in most of these RPGs you kind of start off in the wilderness and you're out on your own, you're taking on wild animals and wild creatures out in the environment, and it isn't until you discover that first city on your own where you just sort of have this feeling of like, oh my god, I'm finally safe, I can finally explore civilization, I'm no longer out in the wilderness fighting for my life every 2 seconds, I can actually take a breather and enjoy the city. And I just absolutely love that idea of spawning into Cyberpunk 2077 and starting out in the Badlands instead of starting in the city and then eventually making your way out into the Badlands. To me, it feels a little bit underwhelming to start in the giant city and then make your way out into the middle of nowhere. It's kind of the same with Grand Theft Auto, like when you start out in the city. Like that's one of the things I didn't really like as much about Grand Theft Auto is when you spawned in the city and then you had to make your way out towards the country. But one of the parts that I really enjoyed about Grand Theft Auto was when you spawned in as Trevor and you started off in the wilderness, you were out in the middle of redneck land, out in the country, and then you had to drive into the city. And then you sort of have that cutscene where you just pull up to the city, you park your truck, and you overlook the entire city, and it just looks absolutely stunning. Versus once you already start in the city and then you work your way out into the country and there's just sort of nothing there for you to explore. It's just a bunch of open wilderness. It just doesn't have the same effect as if you start off in the middle of nowhere and then discover the city for the first time. Plus, for some reason, I feel like if you start in the middle of nowhere and you're used to these harsh environments, you're interacting with all these raiders, you're probably fighting for your life constantly, you have to do all these side missions out in the middle of nowhere before you can even go to Night City. I think living in the Badlands first is going to sort of toughen you up a little bit before you go into the city itself. I think that would better prepare you for some of the gang interactions and stuff that you're going to have to deal with later on. And I think this is just a really good take. So I was originally going to go for Street Kid, but now I think I'm going to go for Nomad on my first playthrough. Now honestly, I'm probably going to pick all three, and I might even load in 3 different playstyles to just sort of test out the prologue 3 different ways before I even make my final decision. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but that's just some food for thought. If you guys have played a lot of RPGs in the past, like Fallout and stuff, this may be right up your alley, and I think that's a really cool idea. And it gave me a completely different outlook on the Nomad lifestyle. Before reading that comment, I had no interest in playing as a Nomad almost really at all because I just didn't think of it. I was just sold on the idea of Street Kid and then Corpo after that because I wanted to have that corporate lifestyle, and I didn't really put much thought into the Badlands. And then when you watch the lifestyle trailer, it really hammers down the point that when you're playing as a Nomad, you really care about your family and stuff, and it's all about family values. So I'm hoping there's a lot of side quests and a lot of character development with the Nomad class where you actually go out and you have all these friends and family members that you have to go out and do different quests for and build different different relationships that way. Plus, if you choose the Nomad lifestyle, if you're a fan of Alana Pierce, that is one of the only ways that you get to interact with her character. I guess if you're a fan of Alana, then I guess that's another reason to choose the Nomad lifestyle. So those are my thoughts on the Nomad class. Let me know what you guys think. I will leave you guys with the Nomad section of the lifestyle trailer. That way you guys can get a little bit of a refresher course on the Nomad lifestyle. But let me know what lifestyle path you guys are planning on choosing for your first playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077. If you guys enjoy this video, I'll make 2 more videos for the other 2 life paths as well. I really like this idea of having life paths because it essentially gives you 3 different ways to play the entire game. And I just can't wait to play this game. I'm so freaking excited for this game. I've not been excited for a video game like this in a very long time. But that is going to do it for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Hit the bell for notifications. Follow me on Twitch at SwanyPlaysGames Live. And that is going to do it for me, everyone. And I will talk to you all in the next video.
Well, who do we have here?
Grew up in Haywood. Whole street was my family. Neighbors helped each other out. Thought nothing of it.
I'm pleased to see you have not forgotten your roots.
Born here, live here, die here.
Childhood memories. Hopping buildings, running away from badges. Iron tasted blood from a split lip.
Motherfucker!
Got everybody fighting for a slice of the street.
Get the fuck out of Vista.
If you keep getting jumped, you find some stronger choopers.
Do you want to spend the rest of your days blasting scabs? Or become a legend overnight?
We have arrived. The Major.
Ready to get your cherry bobbed? Yeah, come on!
My childhood? Let's see. Racing my bobber for the first time through the hills? Oh, and first kiss in the middle of a synth cornfield.
We nomads choose who to make our family. And choice forges strong bonds and a higher duty that stands solid as an old oak.
My family's in pieces. That's why I'm headed for Night City.
Makes you an outcast among outcasts.
Miss this, you know? Camaraderie.
I know. I saw it in your heart the first time we met.
Know what I always liked about nomads? Your taste, no, hunger for freedom. Not easy to come by in Night City.
Corp's got their grubby claws and everything.
I have those reports you asked for.
They were supposed to be ready yesterday.
The world's going to tear us apart when the word gets around.
The world's never going to find out.
If I go down, you're going down with me. No! I'm not fucking joking!
This isn't a request, V.
But no way you're fucked, right? You're the one who fixes other people's shit.
If you work in Arasaka counter intel, you're always fucked.
Today, they got you to zero somebody. Tomorrow, they'll get somebody else to zero you.
What's the rules, Jack? Wanna be top? Gotta have some skin in the game.
Yeah, but you're not on top. Saburo Arasaka is. And you're the pendejo who keeps him there. Work for yourself, live for yourself. That's the only way.